Hey guys, Steve here, Ponics. Today we're going to talk about
Growing with fishes. Growing with fishes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Growing with Fishes podcast, episode 346. We have Caleb back with us again today from Copyleft Cultivars. How's it going, Caleb?
Hey, it's doing great. And I'm excited to be here and show you a little bit of what we've been doing at the Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit since we last checked in.
Yeah, I know you've been working on a lot of cool stuff. We've been kind of um, hoping to show this off and kind of excited to have you on to kind of talk about some of the cool shit that we've been collaborating on. You've been doing the vast majority of the work and just been kind of help provide feedback and tweaks and stuff like that. So super excited to be part of the team and to kind of show off some of the dope stuff that you've been working on. Um, for those of you guys that aren't aware, through the website up here, you guys can check out Copyleft Cultivars over at copyleftcultivars.com. They have a lot of cool resources that are about to be coming online for growers and particularly cannabis growers, but also vegetable growers as well. So really, really excited. We also have our Patreon, which we just launched as well. You guys can sign up over there for $10 or $20 a month to help further the causes that you're about to take in here. So really excited.
Yeah, so our mission, just for anyone who is just becoming aware of our organization or anyone who has been following along, just as a reminder, our mission at Copyleft Cultivars is to protect vulnerable plants using copyleft. And we've really started in the cannabis community, but we've also been working with other vulnerable plants around the world now. And it's been a really great way to just cross-pollinate. Um, so one of the things that we've been really becoming aware of is the need to democratize farming knowledge and spread farming knowledge access around the world, especially accessible, easy to create methods of nutrition for our different crops. And so one of the projects that we've been working on, in addition to some of the other projects I've talked about before, our genetic galaxy and our gene trait association systems that we're doing totally open source and bringing to you next year. But this year, we actually, even ahead of that release, have been putting together some artificial intelligence powered systems that make it really easy to access on any sort of web device, a chatbot that can guide you through a little bit of how to work with natural farming inputs, how to create recipes localized to your region. And um, so we've had a whole team actually working on this, and I'm excited to give a shout out to that whole team. I'm really here in representation of about 12 people that have been putting in completely volunteer, free of any financial incentive, since we are a nonprofit, work into making this happen just as a labor of love. So I'm really excited to show this off a little bit. And yeah, we're just before I do, with that Patreon that Steve showed, we're actually creating this democratization access model where the compute can be paid for through early access to the cutting edge, to the newest version. And then as we cover that compute for everyone else, then the more reliable, more established version of the system that was in beta testing, then that will get opened up for the entire world to use freely. At least that's the aim. So really, we're hoping that we can, with fundraising, cover on a monthly basis the release and maintenance, and then the continued development of this project. And that means that if you contribute to this whether that's today or whether that's in future iterations, you'll get the newest access to beta testing models. You'll be able to interact with us directly, give us feedback. We can help fine tune it for your situation specifically and really make this the best tool possible for you. And at the same time, you're actually helping pay for worldwide access, where people in the global south, people in impoverished areas of the global north, or even people inside of food deserts in major cities, all sorts of these places can have access to this information that would otherwise be very hard for them to get in a lot of cases, and can have that guidance, that teaching mentality. And so, yeah, I just really want to welcome you to, if you feel inspired in your heart to contribute to that, and you or you want access to the newest systems here powered by artificial intelligence engines, go ahead and sign up through the Patreon.
It's one of the things I'm really excited about. We have a pretty low cost that we need to meet to try and make it cover itself as far as the current server costs and then expansion. And once we hit that, we'll be releasing this for free. And then again, any additional costs on that will help us basically develop it faster and put more resources towards that. And then it'll work just like ChatGPT does, where you have the access to 3.5 for free. Everyone will have that always. But then the newest, hottest version that has some new tools that we're adding into it, in beta testing, you'll have access to that ahead of time with the paid version. So I think that's a great way for us to kind of get this out as quickly as possible, and then also make it, quickly accessible to people that can't afford it as well. And you don't have to necessarily, if you can't, afford for it, that's fine. Just wait a little bit, month or two, and it'll be released once we hit that goal. Who knows? Maybe we'll hit it at the end of the day. Maybe I shouldn't speak too soon.
Yeah, well, if we hit it at the end of the day, that means at the very least everybody who signs up will tomorrow have access, as they open their eyes into the new day, to the beta test version. And yeah, as soon as we can roll out the full reliable version then, which we anticipate to be able to do really quite soon here, then we'll be able to open it up to the world, sponsored by all these great people who came together in this community. So I also wanted to shout out to the development of this, and also ask for participation. We have a Discord, and we'd love for anyone who has natural farming knowledge or works with creating fertilizers, especially with free localized materials. If you have a specific area of the globe that you've really worked with, that's of key interest, and really bringing that in. Also, machine learning engineers, if you have worked with data and data cleaning, data structuring, we've got a lot of work on that end that we could really use you. And bringing that together, we'd really just like to continue to have this developmental mindset, this growth mindset as a community. So we have the Discord in the description. You can go ahead and jump on. We actually have an already established great Discord community that is full of really friendly people. And we've launched our Freedom Bag Tag, which is the first open source copyleft license that you can just, as a sticker, you can stick it onto your seed tags, protects freedom of use for any future users, and then makes sure any genetic data kind of comes back to work with everybody. We released that through the Discord, developed it through the Discord. So we're going to have that same mentality here with this. We'd love to have you on that Discord. We just had a great meeting this morning with one of the most prominent KNF, Korean Natural Farming names and teachers. It was a really great honor. I got some great feedback there. I just want to keep that moving and building that team. Of course, Steve's been a great part of this as well. One of our key experts involved. So here on the screen, we have that Freedom Bag Tag I mentioned. And this is already available on the website, copyleftcultivars.com, on our preservation tab. And really just allows you to, is actually above there in the purple, if you want to scroll up slightly. Seems like it's actually not showing on your screen. We just reworked the website, so deal with me here, but it should be that purple image with the with our logo on it.
It
I'll
might be my screwy AI. I have a screwy UI that disables lots of stuff from web stuff, so it might just be me.
well, if you happen to go there and you don't see it, you can
There it
also
is.
there we go. You can also go ahead and save the image, and I'm sure that it'll be viewable. Um,
Oop, 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 oop. Oh, not yet. Wrong one. There we go. We'll show that in a minute. There we go. Okay.
Right. So this is the sticker that you can go ahead and put onto any seed packet. It's really especially towards cannabis in terms of the community that we've developed into or hemp in general. Um, but it should be really widely applicable across to any agricultural seeds. And we have also our community connection into that. So copyleft cultivars, if you ever have trouble with this, we can interface with you and maybe help you out in navigating issues related to anyone infringing on your freedom of use with this, or trying to pirate or take anything, relabel it or rename it that you had put under this system, if they're not using that same protection. So we really stand behind this bag tag, and it's really been an honor to develop it with the community. It also there at the end talks about how any gene sequences or genetic data, if you learn any of that data or test any of that data from the cannabis plants or from the hemp plants that you grow from those seeds, just go ahead and send those to us through the copylefcultivars.com, and we'll publish those. And when we publish those all together, it just really helps the community raise together and learn together and grow together. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over towards the natural farming bot if I can share my
We
screen
also
here.
we have some pretty cool partners too with some other big open source genetic databases in the field. I don't know if you want to mention that or not mention that or not, but we got a
Yeah.
lot of different pools of people that are providing us cool sources of data. Just to reiterate too, what he was talking about, if you have, nutrient content data for teas and ferments or composts or any kind of natural preparations, that's definitely stuff we're looking for, as well as natural pest control information that we don't currently have, that are maybe traditional or more localized. We're also looking for those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really just want to be a channel for community to develop these tools that then are available for the global community. And so again, that's our Patreon, which is how we're going to be supporting this. And so, you ready, Steve? You ready to go into the little show and tell demo? You think it's time?
Yeah, just make sure you full screen your stuff
Great.
and you click over.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
And is that's full screened out?
here, that's fine. I was gonna say I can do it on mine. It'll hit F11. What the fuck is full screen on Apples? I don't know. What is
Oh,
your somebody
I'm
in
on.
chat help?
Oh, here we go. Got it.
There
Just
you
gotta wait a
go.
second.
Perfect.
But
Now
of
it looks
course, I
cleaner.
also hit 12 and showed the HTML bar, but that's okay. So yeah, here we have the interface, and we're using a great interface here that was pre-built for us. So it's already been really well troubleshooted, or really well built in order to allow the interface with the chatbots. So here it just comes in with this limited early access message that will be changing up and developing as we public release and as we continue to develop it. It talks about being a limited test version. It's created by Copyleft Cultivars, our nonprofit, and it's been trained on a library of organic farming, natural farming, and botanical disease diagnostic sources as well as community-created guides for nutrient accumulation in forageable plants. And this was a great mass collaboration again with community members all over the world, working with the Open Nutrient Project and working with other organizations and just building this open source understanding of the nutritional value of plants. So there's really just a wealth of information behind this chatbot here. And then just please remember that they're an early access test version. And so there may be some minor inaccuracies. And of course, we'd really love to, if you jump in here and if you find any inaccuracies, please do let us know. We have eliminated most of the inaccuracies. And now most of the errors are just odd phrasing maybe, but we've really nailed down a lot more reliability. And we can continue to ratchet that in and fine tune it. The processing is limited. So there's a certain limit. Sometimes it will give you a whole guide and it'll kind of cut off at a certain point. And if it does so, you can just say continue. And so it talks about that here. And then it asks you to just tell a little bit about your farm or garden, your goals, the crops and scale of your farm or garden, and your location. And so I prepared an example one here. I'm in Washington State, and I'm hoping to save money and reduce my environmental impact by making my own fertilizers. I have 1/8 of an acre of heirloom corn and 1/4 of an acre garden with various brassica and spicy pepper crops. And immediately it just starts going at it. So I was going to talk a little bit here about, and each one of these are going to be unique. I just want to speak on that here, that I've never seen this response before, and this is the really beautiful thing about artificial intelligence, neural nets right now in their evolution. You've probably heard a lot about these things if you haven't played around with them yourself, but they're really able to kind of model a comprehensive understanding within themselves and then actually process that understanding into next word prediction and build out these never before seen instructions. So this is one of a kind based on that prompt. Last time I put in the same prompt, actually gave me a different answer, and you could keep plugging in the same prompt again and again and get different answers, which allows you to then get more and more recipes, and you could refine your prompt, you can refine what you're asking it for. And it's really this interfaceable back and forth system.
And that's really cool that it did a nutrient heavy IMO4. That's freaking awesome. Like, I don't think I've gotten that answer yet. That's dope.
Right. So I actually earlier today did a little bit of updates based on that meeting I mentioned with one of the big name KNF teachers, which again was a great honor to have them in and get that feedback. And I did some fine tuning related to IMO4. So I think this is a great example also of that development and growth mindset and how this is just going to keep getting better. If you want to get that newest one, you know, getting that subscription and getting access, I think is actually going to make a really significant difference each month as we push it forward. And so here it's talking about how it's wonderful to hear your commitment to sustainable farming practices in Washington State. By creating your own fertilizers, you're taking a significant step toward self-sustainability, self-sufficiency rather, and environmental stewardship. Let's explore how you can use indigenous microorganisms and lactic acid bacteria, labs, which is a probiotic that is really great at breaking down and making bioavailable different nutrients. And for those of you who, although I imagine on this channel, there's a great awareness of this, but the indigenous microorganisms being, again, localized to your region, these microbes that are cultured in a specific way in order to help you to create the best microbial situations for plant growth and fighting different pathogens. And they have many different uses, right? But here it's immediately going to, given my location and given its natural farming training, going to this indigenous microorganisms and lactic acid bacteria or labs. to create effective fertilizers for your heirloom corn, brassicas, and spicy pepper crops. So the various brassicas, the spicy pepper, and the heirloom corns. And then we talk a little bit here about the needs for NPK, the classic acronym here, and then talking a little bit about the differences they might need for the different crops. Since I'm in Washington, it went ahead with the stinging nettles, which I think are a great choice for nitrogen. I myself actually make ferments here in Washington State with the nettles, which are really quite pervasive and have several regrowth seasons. So I think that is a great recommendation. And then we've got comfrey, which again is not indigenous or native to this place, so maybe is a good one to actually be going out and foraging and really like helping remove from some places. It does tend to really overgrow, but there's again a ton of it here in Washington State. Yarrow, chicory, clovers, again, things I see all the time, really have that direct access to. So yeah, I could make these just from walking around my community, gathering these together. And we're gonna go ahead into these recipes, and here it gives us straight recipes customized based on those regional inputs and the understandings of KNF, other forms of natural farming, some Frickshire Veda also. It looks like it's working itself in. But yeah, we have a little bit of a walkthrough on making the labs here. We have some clover and yarrow IMO4. And then here's going into the actual bioaccumulator data based on the specific inputs, talking about what is actually in each of these inputs from a nutritional standpoint. So that's great. And that's information that would have taken me quite a while to even just look up through the library of information there. I had to do that manually. And then there again, another Korean natural farming input. This is the fermented plant juice, and talking a little bit about the different growth phases, a little bit about how you might want to change up your use of the different recipes based on the growth phases, a little bit of encouragement. I think that encouragement is always great, even if it's from a computer. It can be really affirming to our continual search for a thriving ecosystem, and our work as farmers can be enriched by that encouragement. And then here we go ahead and add an alternative set of recipes, and this is just a quick run through of some others that are quite different than these recommendations here. And this might be some other directions to take the chatbot. So let's go ahead and talk about this fish amino acids. And, or actually, let's go with the Dandelion FPJ rather. And since I think the fish amino acids, where we could have it link, I think is a thing we're working on right now, having it link directly to different videos and walkthroughs. So that would be kind of a specific direct handoff. But what if I didn't know about this Dandelion FPJ? So tell me more about the Dandelion FPJ and how I would make it and how I would use it. Go ahead and hit enter. I'm pretty happy with that last result, so I'm going to give it the thumbs up. And again, we really appreciate that feedback. And here it's going to talk a little bit about what Dandelion FPJ is. Fermented liquid fertilizer, captures the essence and nutrients of dandelions. A little bit of information about how to make it, different ingredients, even including like a wooden stick for stirring is their recommendation, breathable cloth, the dark glass bottle for storage. these are important considerations, right? And you know, I could ask about why this dark glass bottle. I think that it would be to do with how we store it from the light, and it's already taking that into account. So that can be also a way you can use this as a little bit of a tutor or a learning coach and develop these skills. Here it's talking a little bit about the process to make the Dandelion FPJ, harvesting, preparation, chopping, layering, fermentation, etc. The storage, uh, how long it can be kept for if stored properly. And then here's the dilution rate, which, um, to my knowledge of KNF, checks out, which is great to see. And I think that their application seems to also check out this recommendation for early in the morning or late in the afternoon to avoid the strong sunlight. Kind of connects with that, the jar being tinted to me. So, um, yeah, already learning a little bit about how to do this Dandelion FPJ. And so here we have another example, and we're gonna just jump it right on top here. A lot of times it's useful to clear your cookie history between different, if you want to ask for a totally different region, but we're just gonna go ahead and continue here with this next one. Hopefully it tracks that we're talking about a new one. So I'm in Chao Phraya Basin. Apologies if I didn't get that correct. In Thailand, I'm a commercial rice farmer with a family farm. We're stressed by fertilizer availability and costs. We're looking for alternatives to fertilize for our rice crop, which is 16 rye in size, and rye being the standard kind of land denomination in that region. Great, and it goes right into that one. And so, hello, it's commendable that you're seeking sustainable alternatives to conventional fertilizers for your rice farm in the Chao Phraya Basin. With the right approach, you can create effective fertilizers using locally available resources, reducing costs and enhancing the health of your soil and crops. Rice plants typically require a balanced supply of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and then it continues on. And you can see it's actually going faster than I can read it out loud. But I see it already going into neem, banana leaves, right? We're seeing this totally different set of recommendations and ingredients that it's synthesizing together to help us. And then here is an important aspect here. We're actually taking our IMO 3 to IMO 4. So that's a little bit of my IMO adjustments from earlier today. Really getting that IMO logic down, which I know is very tricky to get down, even as a person.
No, no, show them now. That person's in Thailand. What if they don't speak English?
Yeah, so I guess I'll have to say this in English, but if you want to copy me over in the chat,
No,
what
no,
it
no,
actually question is
just
in
tell it
Thai.
to answer it. Just tell it to answer it in Thai. They'll do it.
Yeah,
I just did
please
this yesterday with someone that
answer
was in Afghanistan in Pashtun.
me in Thai. There you
So
go.
we
So I
can,
don't know Thai personally, but if you did, it's really just translating contextually. And there's actually a cultural translation element too. So we've used a system that actually allows it to convert based not just word for word, but actually the meaning of the whole sentence and the context of that sentence, which is really important for these complex farming concepts. And yeah, it's just going to go ahead and translate those sections, section by section, from this part up here down into this part here. So that's our neem right there, number 2. Great. So if anyone watching wants to throw into the comments another location in the world that they'd like us to do, and then Steve, if you see one that pops up, go ahead and give us those recommendations, and I'll.
I know, so we've had people check it, at least a couple answers in Hindi and Pashtun and Thai, and yeah, so it speaks a lot of the, bigger languages that you might run into with your stuff.
Right, and also we've confirmed Spanish and Portuguese, so some other of the major languages as well. So this should be widely accessible. Um, we're still working towards testing different African languages, and again, this is a place for community members, if you want to come forward and help us. We just need the ability to really confirm that it is properly translating those things before we endorse it. But theoretically, it should actually work for a huge number of languages that are already built into this artificial intelligence system. Luckily, there's a lot of great chatbot tools that already do this and already include lots of languages. So we've really just been able to integrate that part of it. But we want to make sure and test each of these things for reliability before we endorse them and really release them in full. And so again, getting people from these different language groups and localities will be super helpful. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and have it answer this in another couple languages. And another interesting thing that you can do here is with this stop button. If you've gotten enough through that, or you want it to stop, take back your last one, you can go ahead and click that stop button. And let's go ahead and have it run. I do not understand English. I speak Portuguese. And there we go.
That was one of the key things we wanted to make sure we had for the AI is this has to be accessible to anybody in the world that has a cell phone. In any country. I know when I went to Africa, kind of saw if they had access to something like this would be life-changing for a huge swath of the continent. I think that this really can be kind of that gap, and seeing you take the data that I put together in Open Nutrient Project and turn it into this and combine it with all the awesome natural farming stuff really just blew my mind when you first showed it to me. And we've dramatically, improved it quite a bit since then, and had a couple of breakthrough meetings where we've figured out this, that, or the other, and really, fine tuned it. And you've just done a killer job at this.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really been a labor of love, continues to be a labor of love. And yeah, while I've really spearheaded this significantly, again, I want to give a shout out to our whole team of 12 volunteer
Oh yeah,
people involved in that Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit, and
hell
some of
yeah.
them since our beginning. So we've really been at this for 3 or 4 years now, depending on where you start the timer. Some of these people have been with us working on this whole time, and not just this project, but really the whole suite of projects, from the bag tag to this AI chatbot. And then early next year we're going to also be releasing some great open source galaxies for mass collaboration, for just the whole community to come together. Knowledge is power, and so we can really collectively bring our knowledge together, build collective power, and democratize that access. And we're going to be, working with genetics, working with growing knowledge, working with phenotypic and trait information. So that's up and coming as well. And really, this has been like this whole team kind of working on these cross-pollinating them. We've been, developing data sets for that upcoming release next year, and that's really helped us to reflect and refine this, and vice versa. And so it's really been beautiful to see how it is coming together. Let's go ahead and take this next question that we got here. well, I did say I would run it through 2 languages. So let's run it through another language real quick. Just see the beginning, and then I'll go ahead and move through. Please tell me that in rural dialect, in a rural dialect of Hindi. And I think that's another interesting thing is that you can have different dialects. There's some dialectic elements as well. And so its ability to specify, different, whether you're in a city, whether you are in a rural area, whether you speak a rural dialect or a more like formalized quote, quote dialect is totally within the ability of this bot. So there it goes right at it again. And here's one that was suggested from the chat. Oh, gotta copy it properly. Or I'll just say Dandelion FPJ a ton of times.
We have there was a couple questions in chat. One was about
I'd
fermented
say
cannabis leaf extract and sourdough.
Yeah, I'm taking the one that just sent me.
Okay, that's
How
fine.
to use it for cannabis. So this is one of the chat questions. Oh, and we're back to Portuguese. So let's go ahead and English, please. And you can see this is really easy to redirect and to interact with and just to, fluently stop, be like, okay, let's tweak that a little bit, change what you said to it a little bit or ask it for clarification on a certain thing. And we're really hoping to have, as that big name KNF teacher put it this morning, I really love this, the teacher's heart. And so I'm taking that to heart, so to speak, with this model. And really seeking for it to have that teacher's heart.
This was the eggshell question.
I suppose it was. So this is our a great example of how it is still in development. Oh, it looks like this is still it's
No, I
still
re-answered the previous question. Yeah, no.
the previous. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's go ahead and just say I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing, wipe my cookie history from this, and then go ahead and plug that one in real fast. So
Okay.
and yeah, in this current version, that's how we recommend dealing with any issue where it's getting confused between the different prompts. The best way to do that is just to go to your history and then clear browsing data, and then that will allow you to, within the last hour, you can specify and just delete cookies and other site data, and then when you reload it, it should just come back to the very beginning. So
I can do it here if you want me to.
right. And then I'll go ahead and again type that out. I'd save eggshells and wonder how to use it for my cannabis nutrients. So let's go ahead and also say I am in um, Portland, Maine, USA, growing 5 cannabis plants. I saved eggshells and wonder
No, man, say
how.
like in a 5 cannabis plants in like a 5 by 5 bed. You give it a
Yeah, okay,
dimension so it can be
5
really exact.
by 5 foot garden bed. Great. And that context really helps. So I recommend again, just as it recommends here in that intro, to talk about where you are, your goals, the crops, and scale of your farm and garden and your location. And here we have it. Greetings from Portland, Maine. It's wonderful to hear about your cannabis cultivation project. Eggshells are a fantastic source of calcium, which is crucial for healthy development of your plants. Let's explore how you can transform those eggshells into beneficial fertilizer for your cannabis plants. And then it goes into it a little bit, the nutritional needs.
Water
Nancy
soluble
can go ahead.
calcium.
Yeah, gives very similar to when we were in Washington, which makes sense because actually the same type of environment in terms of cold and wet and the similar fungal environments, but there's a little bit of difference in terms of like horsetail, and the dandelion here is more forward. I know that nettles are equally as populous over there as they are here, so um, it's interesting to see those similarities in similar areas. It also is tuned towards preferring invasive species so that when you go out and wild harvest them for free, you are leaving the more vulnerable plants more often. And here we have our eggshell recipe for water-soluble calcium from eggshells, which is a great Korean natural farming recipe that any of you that have not done this, I strongly recommend doing this in a place where you have great ventilation or you don't mind the smell. But aside from that, just while you're making it, there's a little bit of smell, but I really recommend doing this recipe at home. It's one of my favorites. So you can then dilute that water-soluble calcium solution to this rate in water, use it with your plants as a foliar spray. Talks a little bit about the schedule based on the phase you're in, vegetative, pre-flowering, which is, I believe, the most critical point in terms of getting the nutrition cued in for cannabis plants in my personal experience, and then flowering stage, which, of course, very important to have that potassium-rich fertilizers and continuing with that regular calcium integration. And yeah, so let's go ahead and we got a comment about invasive plants. So can you make the recipes out of only invasive plants?
Say for that same garden.
Yeah.
Or some-
And you can actually just say my region in Portland, Maine, or you could likely just say my region because it's going to have that context from here. That's another great thing about these chatbots is they're able to, most artificial intelligence systems that are chatbots, and ours for sure, can include that ability to carry context over the context window, as it's called. Great. And so here it's really going after some of these nasty invasives, Japanese knotweed being one I'm familiar with personally, and making them into FPJs and FPEs.
Bittersweet nightshade. That's another one. Yeah, man, this is great. I haven't thought about using it for invasives yet, but all the data is there. So
Absolutely. Right. And we've had a little bit of testing so far from some integrated pest management professionals and experts. Just a little bit starting to touch into that, and that's a space where we're expanding it into. So let's go ahead and do a prompt related to that for this same location. And, you know, first, actually, let's just say thank you for the same location. And crop. Tell me how to fight spider mites. Let's say the two-spotted spider mites. Okay, it's going to go ahead and give you integrated pest management for two-spotted spider mites. Introduction about the two-spotted spider mites, their scientific name, a little bit about the different diagnostic indicators. I strongly recommend using corroborative information and really nailing down your diagnostics, as we do not yet have computer vision with this system to assist with that. And so if you already know really what you're dealing with, so you're quite sure that it's two-spotted spider mite, then I think this would be some great things to look at. So it's talking about maintaining plant health, environmental controls, regular inspections, sanitation. These are all important parts of integrated pest management. They recommend biological controls, predatory mites, and other beneficial insects, which I think are also a great one. I've had some success with persistently covering with predatory mites. We have some soft chemical, horticultural oils, insecticidal soaps to suffocate or dehydrate the mites. I think a note here, if it's cannabis, that it doesn't say, and I think this is where we're fine-tuning integrated pest management. It's a little bit of crop specificity and really these and kind of everything in this chemical control category should be not applied during flowering or pre-flowering. Really, especially things like neem oil or horticultural oils. But in vegetative phase, I think these are great examples. I've used neem oil quite a lot to great success during vegetative phase. And then diatomaceous earth. And it does say about the base of the plants to deter mites from climbing up from the soil. I think that is, in my opinion, also a good use for it. But I didn't actually put in specifically how to use diatomaceous earth. So this is really just the bot taking that information and knowing that it's a viable solution, implementing the how-to, recommending some preventative measures. At first signs of mite, so this is the very important window, 5 to 7 days for reapplication and really introducing those predator mites early, and then maintenance. So, you know, I'm not an expert in integrated pest management, but I do have quite a bit of personal experience fighting pests, and I think that this is a great starting place. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that thumbs up there. And how about using a Jadam approach? And Jadam is another system related to Korean natural farming that was created by Yongsang Cho, and oh, it even actually says that here. And that's the son of the infamous Master Cho from Korean natural farming fame. So there's some integration there, and a lot of the recipes are a little more like fast and dirty, quick and easy kind of reductions of natural farming principles. So yeah, there it's going into wetting agents. The Jadam wetting agent is kind of a classic one in Jadam. I will note that's become a bit controversial in some spaces, but it is really canon Jadam, and I asked about Jadam. And then we have our Jadam herbal solutions. We're gonna make out of these spicy peppers, ginger, garlic, and again, kind of talks about these IPM elements, but from the Jadam perspective. And then, how about I'm I'm gonna try to spell it right, Berkshire Beta. And the other thing that's really neat about this bot is you don't actually have to always spell everything right. So hopefully it can tell. Yeah, and I did misspell it. Berkshire Veda, an ancient Indian science of plant life, emphasizes the balance of natural elements and the use of botanical extracts in preparation to maintain plant health and manage pests. And again, a bit of those IPM principles, but from the Berkshire Veda perspective, natural predators, again, but kind of talking about maybe different ones or a different perspective, neem oil, and it looks like we're getting also a similar but Berkshire Beta tuned recipe for that hot pepper garlic type of deterrent. And it left us with these beautiful words of encouragement, embracing the wisdom of Berkshire Veda. You are walking a path that connects you to the ancient traditions of natural farming. Your efforts to integrate these practices show a deep respect for nature and a commitment to nurturing life in its purest form. May your garden flourish and be a testament to the power of these time-honored methods. So this is a little bit of what we can do with this natural farming chatbot. And again, I want to encourage you, if you are excited by what you see, you want to be a part of this, if you go ahead and join our Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit Patreon. The description is in the description there, and we have a lot of great, exciting things upcoming from the Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit. We have two different tiers on the Patreon. We have the $20 one, which is that early access to the beta testing of our system, the cutting edge access, and really supporting us. We're going to help support you as well. We're going to help fine tune it for your applications and be there to interface with you on a fairly regular basis, especially troubleshooting this and really making sure it works great for your use, prioritizing your perspectives in the direction that we continue to develop this while keeping the whole global democratization and open access objective intact. And then we have the $10 tier, which is our sliding scale option. So if you still want access and that $20 is maybe this month you're feeling like going for that $10 one, next month you can go for the $20 one, or however you feel in your heart you really want to support us. We want to make sure that that's also still accessible at that $10 level. So we'll still give you access to the exclusive cutting edge model and interface with that. And we'll still listen to your feedback and really take that into account as well. So we value both of those connections. We also, here on our website, are just offering straight donations through our Donate Now button. It takes you to a PayPal. Please do enter on the PayPal Copyleft Cultivars in the memo. That helps us with our bookkeeping quite a lot. And then we have our preservation projects, preservation through protection. We have this freedom bag tag that we touched on before. And we also have an interconnected galaxy that is coming soon, coming this next year, early 2024. We're going to be releasing the long-awaited Copyleft Cultivars Open Galaxy project and Community Galaxy projects. Those are going to allow people to have apps on their phones connecting to these database systems that we've developed with university partners that allow us to bring together as much data as possible under assurances of open source. So anything that's put into this is already put into this open source guarantee structure. Even the nonprofit won't be able to lock it down, and really we'll be openly publishing it and continuing to increase accessibility, especially for researchers. That'll allow us to bring together as much knowledge as possible through the community and thereby create as great of understandings as possible. And just like I was talking about with the chatbot, this continual improvement and growth mindset, we want to really help the community to have the infrastructure and ability to do that all together. So watch for that upcoming in 2024. You can follow us on Instagram at Copyleft Cultivars and also at Copyleft Cannabis. Our website again is copyleftcultivars.com. You can email us at copyleftcultivars@gmail.com. And then, of course, the Patreon if you want to get early access before a public release for this chatbot. Thanks, Steve, for letting me intro people into this and do this little sneak peek and really just help the community see a little bit of what we've been doing. I'm really excited to bring this to the larger global audience, and thank you everybody who's watching along.
Yeah, man, thanks for all the kick-ass work you've been putting into this. And yeah, we had a couple other questions. What was it? In chat. One, how are we dealing with differences between immediate available NPK and those biologically derived? We have some testing data for stuff before and after. We're looking for more. We're also working on getting some additional sources of data, which is part of the project right now on that. But again, if you have access to any of that, we're happy to. And then some of this can also be derived for, hey, if similar types of inputs have similar release rates, we can guesstimate within a margin of error. So that's how it's doing some of its work right now. And again, that's going to get better with time as we further add more data to the set. What else is it? What AI engine version is being used for the current model?
So it's a combination of several different systems that we've chained together. So that's a little bit out of scope for this sneak peek.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, happy to go continue to open that up, especially as we develop and when we do our open release. I think we'll be able to provide a little more comprehensive background there. But yeah, just given the number of systems that we've hooked together to make this happen. And also in terms of the back end, the actual LLM back end, we're experimenting with multiple LLM backends.
Yeah, we hopefully make sure we pick the right one, and that's going to work best for this long term. There's a lot of different layers to this too, and we have a pretty cool roadmap for kind of what different features are going to go into it as it evolves and things like that. So I'm sure that'll play a factor into it as well, long term.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we also hope to develop more and more of this in-house, just so that more and more of it is fine-tunable. So that user interface that I showed you, that's going to be our initial launch user interface. And again, that's one of these systems that we've connected into. We eventually do plan to bring that in-house, design our whole own user interface, and then that'll allow other types like multimodal access, pictures, videos, linking to videos within the user interface. These are goals that we're working towards.
We have some cool educators as well. They're going to be providing some of their resources for embedding in the model as well for educating. So if you're a little bit stuck on something like that, we'll have some reference videos for a lot of these different natural farming in particular stuff. But also, hey, if you have other reference videos and you want to add them to it and you want to give us access to them, we're happy to do that as well. But we will have kind of it won't just be the chat. There'll be multiple sources of resources for this as well. It'll be really a multimedia kind of educational experience, not just reading the text and it once it gets a little bit farther along.
Right. And yeah, that's something that I've been really excited to see develop is that back and forth with the chatbot as well. That's something that's been blossoming in our recent development with it is um, its ability to track the context of the conversation and really refine what it said to you based on your requests to refine certain parts or explain certain parts. And yeah, that's where we also hope to link in other educators. Again, increasing my call out for natural farming educators or educators of indigenous farming or that type of natural farming type of cluster. Um, really, we want to be able to connect in this ecosystem, and we have this ecosystem perspective at Cultivars. So, connect with us and help us connect this in with you. And maybe eventually we can even have this recommending, different teachers to go to in order to continue or different kind of groups of teachers that are out there already in the world, kind of established next level educational steps as well for if the knowledge base ever kind of hits an end of a road, being able to be like, here's the type of people you should go talk to, or here's some videos, or here's some information sources. So that's another place that we're taking this from that ecosystem perspective. And if you want to be a part of that with an already established teaching practice or an already established natural farming practice, scientific research into agriculture, all those sorts of things, we'd really love to interconnect that as well. We're also working on microbes, and that's maybe another thing to mention here. Um, Another thing we hope to do is expand the use of artificial intelligence in agriculture to democratize microbial science. And so anyone who wants to be a part of that, jump onto our Discord. Link is in the description, and we're already getting the ball rolling there with a few volunteers that have jumped out recently with machine learning understanding, some of our longtime volunteers that have been really kicking butt. And yeah, I'm excited for that microbial next step as well as that integrated pest management next steps.
That's really awesome, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I don't know if you want to tease anything else here on the way out, or if you want to save that for later. But I know the last time I saw what you were working on with some of the other cool stuff as well kind of blew me away. But we can always save that for later if need be.
Yeah, I really love to keep this one focused on this natural
Sure.
farming fertilizer chatbot, but I would love to also come back and if you're open to it, have another session about the Galaxy tools we're going to be releasing in early 2024, because I think that's a whole nother really super fun show and tell, and I'd love to make that possible. But yeah, right now I really want to allow people that moment to focus their attention on the natural farming fertilizer assistant chatbot and in interconnecting that community and that ecosystem before we jump into that big release of that much larger project. And yeah, again, you can go ahead and jump over to our Patreon, our Discord, our Instagram, right? We have lots of these different channels. And since this is early into the development, uh, really the sooner that you get involved, the deeper that we can integrate you into this ecosystem, into this community. So yeah, can't encourage that enough. But even if you don't have the contribution to make here financially, you can make a knowledge contribution or a community contribution through the Discord. You can spread the word publicly. We're also looking for people with experience with grant writing and especially international funding organizations that's another thing that taking this globally, democratizing it across the world, that is another great skill set that we'd love to welcome you into the organization with.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can find some more awesome people to join the team and keep the machine rolling. And if you're watching this and you guys want to get involved again, be sure to check out Copyleft Cultivars on Patreon. We also have a Discord. There's a link in the description as well. If you want to check that out, to the public Discord we have there. And yeah, thanks a lot. And again, you can check us out at copyleftcultivars.com as well if you want to find out more information about the organization. And how do people find you if they want to reach out to you there, Caleb?
Yeah, so I'm at Soulshine Growing, SOL Shine Growing on Instagram, and same thing at Gmail, Soulshine Growing at Gmail, Copyleft Cultivars at gmail.com, and then if you DM us on the Copyleft Cultivars uh, Instagram, that also is usually tended by me. We have one other volunteer that also helps with that. So yeah, if you want to reach out through that, and then I'm always active on the Discord. So I'm Caleb Soul, SOL, on the Discord, and feel free to tag me or just jump in, respond to anything that I'm saying in the conversation, DM me. I'm very open, and I really just want to work with the whole community as much as possible in building these public democratization of knowledge and access. So yeah, definitely welcome connections of all sorts.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the work you do, and also appreciate everybody else on the team. I don't know if everybody on the team wants to necessarily be named on the Cannabis channel. I don't want to get them in trouble with their day jobs, so I won't name them by name. But there's a super kick-ass team of people that have been working extremely hard that aren't part of the thing here. I just wanted to kind of mention them again. One last time is a big thank you to all the hard work they've been putting in as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also don't know how they want to be shouted out, but by the next time I feature, I'll have gone around and checked, and I can give them the proper kudos by name as wanted. But yeah, really, I'm just here as kind of a representative and spearheading this, and it's been this whole beautiful team of volunteers that has made this possible again for about 3 or 4 years of working on this and several other interconnected projects. So yeah, thanks. And any of you who are watching who volunteered either currently or in the past, really heartfelt thank you so much for making this possible. And thanks to all the viewers as well, because I mean, if it wasn't for this community of people watching this and spreading the word, what would this movement really be? So thank you.
Yeah, if you guys can do nothing else, just help get the word out about the project and yeah, direct people our way if you think they're useful. So I appreciate all you do, and thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you. And again, you can check them out at copyleftcultivars.com, Copyleft Cultivars on Discord, and Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit on Patreon if you want to get involved. And you guys can find me as always on Ponics and SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all the things. And we'll be back again next week. Next week we have Future 4200 will be joining us next Thursday, talking to us about a whole bunch of cool stuff. So excited to have him back on the show for a second time. Last time we didn't get a chance to really dig into all of his cool science. So we'll kind of get into that with him. Yeah, be coming up. So thanks a lot, and we'll catch you guys again next week. Peace.